This is the Thank You Ocean Report. An incredible live global natural history television event is happening this August and September. It's called Big Blue Live. BBC and PBS are partnering with a number of conservation organizations, including the Monterey Bay Aquarium and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, to showcase the extraordinary wildlife in the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary and the unbelievable effort that has gone into preserving it.
When the BBC and PBS team looked around the world for an ocean success story, something that could inspire people at a time when so much of the environmental news we hear is depressing, they picked Monterey Bay. And I think it's a testimony to decades, in fact, almost a century of effort to protect marine habitats and marine wildlife.
Ken Peterson is the communications director for the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and he says part of the story behind Big Blue Live is this partnership between BBC and PBS, but also what can happen over time if we give the natural world a chance.
The fact that there was an international fur seal treaty in place over 100 years ago, which allowed the elephant seals and the sea lions and the sea otters to come back. The fact that there was a Marine Mammal Protection Act since the 1970s, and whaling has been restricted internationally so that the blue whales and the humpbacks are coming back. The fact that birds are being protected, that we've taken DDT out of the environment so that the pelicans are coming back with the creation of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary in 1992, with California's leadership in establishing marine protected areas up and down the length of the coast. Now we have a science-based, ecosystem-based approach that says protect the habitats, protect the vulnerable species, and let them do what they should do, which is reproduce and thrive.
These live broadcasts will be anchored from open-air studios at the Monterey Bay Aquarium and aboard the Office of National Marine Sanctuaries research vessel, the Fulmar.
People who want to watch wildlife have incredible opportunities, and that's what the BBC and PBS are drawn to, the fact that they can go out on the sanctuary's boat and be watching lunge-feeding humpback whales or blue whales cruising around, the fact that there'll be sea otters in the kelp beds that weren't there 60 years ago when the otters hadn't yet returned to Monterey Bay. The fact that the birds are abundant in Elkhorn Slough because the wetlands are protected there and the migratory pathways for the birds allow them to get to and fro. And they're all coming because it's a healthy bay.
The Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary sits at the heart of the Serengeti of the sea, offering what has been called the most amazing marine wildlife viewing in the world. Preserved by various state and federal protected areas across nearly 11,000 square miles. I asked Ken what he hopes people will take away from these live broadcasts.
I think people are going to take away from Big Blue Live the fact that there is a lot of wildlife here that's very accessible to people. The fact that people will realize that you can walk along the shoreline or bike the coast, that you can get in a kayak and paddle not that far offshore, that you can go down to Fisherman's Wharf or into Moss Landing or Santa Cruz and get on a whale watching boat and be seeing the same things that Big Blue Live is going to be presenting in live television. I think that's going to be an enormous draw for people who don't get a chance in their daily lives to be that close to really majestic animals. And it becomes not just a Monterey Bay story, because the conservation success is not limited to the two horns of Monterey Bay, Santa Cruz and Monterey. This is a California success story. It's a United States success story. The gray whales, the humpbacks, the blue whales, they're found up and down our coast. They're going to be people who might wind up going to Santa Barbara to go see the whales there. They might choose to go out to the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary and see the sea lion rookeries there and snorkel or dive in those kelp forests. But they'll also know that if they come diving here or kayaking here or whale watching here or birding, there's going to be an awful lot to see that is just going to leave their hearts pounding. And globally, what the people at BBC said, they hope this inspires people around the world to say, we have treasures like this in our homeland. We're going to take as good care of them and watch them recover just the way the Bay has.
My thanks to Ken Peterson. And here's your Thank You Ocean Everyday Action. Please check out these truly unprecedented Global Live Natural History programs on PBS August 31st, September 1st and 2nd, taking place in and around Monterey Bay. I'm Jerry Kay.